right? Hello! Don't know what is going on here. Anyway, I hope life treats you well. Basically, I've been trying to make my life as eco-friendly and as ethical as I possibly can over the last few years, whilst, still living in the 21st century. So I don't live in a shack in the middle of nowhere without internet, which might be quite nice. Reason being is, given the way that the world is at the moment with climate change and humanitarian disasters all the time, I think it's probably one of the easiest things that an individual can do to sort of change their lifestyle to kind of stop the world dying as a result of capitalism, which would be obviously terrible. So what I thought I'd do is I'd just share a few of the things that I've learned over the last few years trying to be more eco-ethical, etc. And if you're trying to do the same thing, maybe they will help you. If you've got anything you think I should try, absolutely let me know in the comments below. Always keen to try some more. Okay, just before we go any further though, I think it's really important to highlight one massive caveat with all of this, which is that generally, not always, but a lot of the time, the more eco-friendly and more ethical products that we might get as consumers tend to be a bit more expensive than their less eco and less ethical counterparts. Like fast fashion is a great example of that. Of course, we all have an individual responsibility to be kind to the environment. Just know that if you are at home and you are struggling with your health or your finances, you have far less responsibility than some multinational corporations or people with outrageously awful amounts of wealth, or governments that refuse to adopt more sustainable practices, etc. They all have far more responsibility than you do as a struggling individual. What's worse is that these massive companies and governments will often greenwash everything they're doing and try and put guilt on struggling individuals to be more eco-friendly when these companies and governments are not pulling their weight themselves. So yeah, I think moral of the story is point your anger at them and don't feel too personally overwhelmed with guilt yourself if you are struggling and you are trying. I think that should be fairly agreeable. Anyway, moving on. Also, think I should point out all the things I'm going to recommend. I'm recommending because I think they're great. Anyway, okay, so let's begin. Starting in the bathroom. Let's take showering. I just use bar soap. Some of the wonderful things about bar soap is, you can make sure that they're vegan, cruelty-free. You can support independent businesses on Etsy, etc. And also, if there's any particular chemicals you want to avoid, you can make sure that you're avoiding them. Problems with bar soap, I will say, is that they can be a bit pricey. That's just kind of the way it is. Depends where you get them from. You can go to Lush, but there are other places that are a bit cheaper. And the other thing is they tend to run out quite quickly if you don't use them properly. For that, I would use one of these. Voila, hopefully that's appeared, which is just a hemp bag with a drawstring that you put each of your soaps in, and they're really great. They work as firstly an exfoliant, which is just quite nice, I suppose, and second of all, they make you use less of the soap each time you use it. I'm not sure how it works, but I definitely find I'm using less. If you have a pure bar of soap and you're scrubbing it on yourself, it wears out pretty quickly, but with these works quite well. It lasts for a little while longer. Also, how you store them is really important. If you use a bar of soap and it's wet and you just put it on the side and it's still wet, it's going to melt into your sink and go down the drain, and that's a waste. Store it in a container that just keeps it there, right? It's not dripping away. Useful. Okay, so that's bar soaps. I think they're brilliant. Shaving, I use a double-edged safety razor, so I started using these because I just hate the amount of plastic packaging with Gillette stuff. It's just obscene, the amount of plastic. It's ridiculous. So double-edged safety razor is all metal. You can get 100 razor blades for a tenner or a fiver, etc. Really easy. It does take a bit of getting used to. I did cut myself a little bit, but once you get the technique down, it's grand. I think they're really good. Definitely recommend. Okay, for dental stuff, mouth, oral hygiene, toothpaste, I generally recommend a fluoride toothpaste. Reason being, I know some people don't like fluoride toothpaste, but from what I understand, it's instrumental in avoiding cavities. So at the moment at least, I would not want to try a toothpaste without fluoride. So yeah, so I've just found this nice vegan cruelty-free toothpaste in a recyclable tube. I would quite like to try tablets in the little glass containers, so no plastic. Finding those with fluoride in tends to be quite difficult. So toothbrushes, I used to use you can get wooden toothbrushes. I think the Humble Brush Company is one that I used to use, which are great. Manual toothbrushes, fine. I do think that electric toothbrushes are better. Obviously, electric toothbrush heads from Oral-B, again, encased in so much plastic. I don't understand why they do it. Just send it in cardboard. Maybe it's more hygienic in plastic, but it's just so much. Why? I don't understand. Anyway, there is this company, I can't remember what they're called, but I'll put it here. They send you out 4 electric toothbrush heads in cardboard packaging. Really nice. They are plastic heads, but you mail them back to this company and allegedly somehow they recycle them, reuse them. I'm not quite sure how effective that is as a strategy, but I do think it's better than like Oral-B. Just so much plastic. Putting them in the bin. Not ideal. Moving on to, I guess, like the kitchen, utilities, cleaning. So I use for like detergent sprays, Ocean Saver stuff. So you can get their own plastic bottles that you use forever, or you can just use any plastic bottle you have lying around. Basically, what I get from them are little water-soluble capsules filled with really, really concentrated detergent, and I have one that is antibacterial, which I just use for surfaces, and I have another one which is like cut through grease, anti-grease, whatever, and honestly I just use that for my dishes and surfaces sometimes. They work really well, really like them. You just plop the capsule in whatever bottle you have, fill it up with water, shake it, leave it for a little minute, and then it dissolves and you have like detergent. Great. And it's vegan, cruelty free, all that nice stuff. Dishwashing and laundry, I use Smol products, so SMOL. What they are is a subscription service. Every so often they'll send you through the mail a cardboard package filled with dishwasher tablets, laundry detergent capsules, again no plastic, and then I do have these refillable bottles from them of fabric softener. Again, all really good, no problems with any of them. They all work just as you'd expect. Golden. Really happy. Also in the kitchen, let's talk about food. I'm very acutely aware that it's not necessarily my place to tell people what they should and shouldn't be eating, because people have all kinds of different dietary requirements, everybody is different, etc. I get that. However, if you are in a position where you are able to try, or you would like to try going vegan, absolutely recommend it. It's probably the single biggest thing an individual can do to mitigate their impact on the environment. Also, animal agriculture, I think, is a horrible, horrible thing. There's so much animal abuse. It's just appalling. It really, really upsets me. As I think it should upset anybody. There are so many reasons for following a vegan diet. I've signed a few petitions, and now all of a sudden my Instagram feed is just full of these horrible, horrible videos. It's just mind-alteringly awful. Anyway, so that's one side of it. The other side of it is, if we're looking at environmental impact, each animal that we raise requires so much food and so much water. So much deforestation is just for animal agriculture and the feed that they require to eat. It's crazy. You have all this space that is being used to make feed for cattle. Just use it for people. Just eat the plants, right? I'm very aware I'm sat here as kind of like a preachy vegan, but honestly, it seems to make no sense to me that if you're concerned about the world, you wouldn't at least try and adopt some vegan principles. And also, depending on where you live, like in the UK, it is so easy. Every single restaurant I have ever been to in the last 5 years has always had a vegan option. I'm sure there are some without, whatever. And it's always really nice. Like, I kind of think whoever makes the vegan options in a menu tends to put more effort into making that taste really nice than, I don't know, just relying on the standard flavor of, I don't know, a steak and chips. This vegan thing, it always seems really nice. And I'm not just saying that. There's only one time where I went out for a meal and I had the vegan option and it was just awful. It was so bad. I think it was Bill's. Was it Bill's? It was so bad. But anyway, every other time has been a dream. If you're one of those people who really loves to cook, you really love the process of cooking and making things, I'm not one of those people, but if you are, there are so many options for, you can have vegan replacement things. If that's the way you want to go, you can get like vegan sausages, vegan mince, etc., etc. Or you can just have completely separate things like tofu or soy-based things. There are so many different options to make really nice vegan meals. Also, I really wouldn't be worried about getting your protein intake. There are so many vegan sources of protein like peas, beans, nuts, seeds. If you're really, really worried about your protein intake and you're like an athlete and you're working out, trying to gain a load of muscle, I would just get a vegan protein supplement. Like, I get one from myprotein.com and it's great. It's like complete amino acid profile, really tasty, loads of options, pretty cheap. It's great. So yeah, another thing I've just started taking over the last few months is something called Hellooo. Now, I'm very aware that a lot of people think this is kind of gimmicky, and I kind of see their point to an extent. Like, the idea is, it's this powder that you blend with water or milk, whatever you fancy, and it creates a nutritionally complete meal. So it's got like all your vitamins, all your minerals, protein, carbohydrates, etc. fat in this one powder that you make into a shake, essentially. Now, I totally get that a lot of people would find that just kind of really weird, just the idea of replacing your diet with this powder that you mix up into a shake. I feel great, really happy. I haven't died of protein deficiency. All seems to be good. I don't have the money to have it as my whole diet. If I did, I'd probably just have it as my whole diet. I really love how easy it is to make, how quick it is to make, the fact that you can really acutely count your calories if you're following a particular gym program. The biggest thing is that it's completely vegan and plant-based. Like, that's huge, at least to me. The idea that I could just have this thing so ready prepared, just mix it with water with like not very much packaging, and it's completely plant-based, and that is everything I need. I just find so wonderfully great. Now again, I appreciate it's not for everybody. I haven't tried living exclusively off it, so it might be a bit weird if I did. But yeah. Next, clothing. Pretty much all my clothing now I just get secondhand off of eBay. Obviously fast fashion, like, terrible for the world, terrible worker rights a lot of the time, people being paid hardly anything, all this new clothes just being sent to landfill, returns being sent to landfill. Fast fashion, disaster for the planet, I think. So yeah, I just get all my clothes secondhand off eBay. Now, obviously I don't buy socks and pants secondhand, underwear, if you're in America. That'd be kind of a bit unpleasant. So I do buy those new. If you don't fancy eBay, it's charity shops, thrift shops, all that kind of stuff. Generally, you can find really nice stuff. I'm quite not very adventurous with my fashion, which is kind of sad. Maybe I'm just a bit boring like that. I am. Sorry. I found like this one nice pair of trousers that I bought off eBay. I just really like them. They fit really well. So I just buy like the exact same brand, the exact same size, maybe in some slightly different colors. And, you know, whenever I need new trousers, I just go onto eBay, type that in, and I just get them. Somebody's normally selling a pair for like $5 or something, and I'm like, yeah, I'll wear them. And they turn up, and you give them a wash, and they're great. They're fine. That's my experience. Some people, again, probably don't like the idea of secondhand clothes, wearing clothes secondhand. I kind of feel that's being a bit precious. That's just me, but you know, again, you do you. The other thing about clothing is what it's made from. So a lot of clothes are made from plastic, like polyester. That's just plastic. You put it in the wash, it makes all these microplastics. They go down the drain, end up in the ocean, end up in your bloodstream, end up on top of Mount Everest, end up in the food that you're eating, and it's terrible, right? Microplastics, bad. Generally, I will try to avoid plastic-based fibers. You can go for cotton. Cotton uses quite a lot of water to produce, so if that's a concern to you, you can go for bamboo. But wait, I'm just going to stop myself there because whilst researching for this video, it turns out that most of the bamboo clothing that is readily available is made from something called bamboo viscose, or viscose, I'm not really sure how you say it. But essentially, the process for making this is not as environmentally friendly as I first thought. There are a few harsh chemicals involved and the water is not recycled, etc. So essentially, I need to do a bit more research before I can suggest a really good eco-friendly fibre to get clothes made from. And I also know that you can get a lot of clothes made from recycled fibres, so if you want like new pants and socks, that's probably a good way to go, and I will look for that in the future. Anyway, back. Final thing to talk about, I guess, is kind of like consumer things that you buy, electronics, stuff like that. And I generally now, I think I try and get everything I can secondhand from like eBay, Facebook Marketplace. If you're buying electronics from Facebook Marketplace, you do have to be a bit careful. eBay has lots of protections. Obviously, Facebook Marketplace, if you turn up to a stranger's house and you pay cash, you've got like no protection really, unless you go to like some sort of small claims court. I don't know. So just be careful. One of the examples is like I turned up to this person's house to buy an iron for 15 quid. They gave me the box. It was very heavy. I thought, that's an iron. I gave them the £15. I took it home and it was meant to be this nice Philips brand iron. I took it out. It was like this really £5 Wilco iron that was hardly working. And I messaged them on Facebook and I was like, yo, this isn't the iron that you advertise. And they were like, how dare you suggest I lie? And I was like, I just wanted an iron. I just wanted an iron. But generally, you know, if you're sensible, things will be fine. Like, I bought a £270 TV off of somebody off Facebook Marketplace. I turned up to their house. They turned it on. It worked fine. I gave them the money, and it's been wonderful ever since. Obviously, just try things. Make sure that they don't go wrong. If you're buying on eBay though, eBay has so much buyer protection. Like, if there's ever a conflict, they generally always side with the buyer. So, you know, if anybody says anything like no returns on this listing, you can always pretty much return it and get your money back if you've got a problem with it. It's just secondhand everything. This MacBook is bought off of eBay. These are bought off of eBay. This camera is bought off of eBay. Everything on this thing is bought off eBay. Secondhand instruments. So eBay, brilliant. Like, if you need to get your money back through PayPal, easy peasy. Like, generally lots of protection. Pay for things with PayPal, you're kind of good to go. There are also now loads of online websites that just do eco things, and they stock just eco things, and you know, they might be all vegan or they might be all cruelty free, etc. That kind of stuff, and you can filter things by those categories sometimes, which is really useful, and just an easy way to make sure that what you're getting fits what you want. But anyway, again, I've said a whole load, and I don't really know exactly what I've said. If you've watched to the end of this, thank you very much. Hopefully there's been something useful if you fancy trying to be a bit more eco-friendly than you already are. And if there's anything you think, again, that I can do, please absolutely let me know in the comments below. I so want to hear from you about that. Honestly, that sounded sarcastic. I really didn't mean to sound sarcastic. Anyway, again, I hope you're doing well. Thank you very much for watching. I will catch you again soon, and look after yourselves. Be well. Bye. Ah!